Welcome to Multi-Level Mormon Missionary.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Priesthood Dispatches channel. I'm PD. As usual, like and subscribe, share wherever you feel comfortable, and let's get to it. So this is the second time I'm doing a full recording of this episode. Having shown the first take to Sister PD, you could say I hammed it up so much that Miss Piggy was jealous.
The Princess and the Frog? Been there, done that!
This is episode 5 of Multi-Level Mormon Missionary, and we'll cover the last week of the MTC, and we will find out where Elder PD's first area is. Now, in this episode, you all have the opportunity to win a signed copy of Mark Elwood's The Glass Looker, some Cadburys Chocolate just in time for Easter, and a lovely Priesthood Dispatches badge. Watch till the end of the episode to find out how. This week's episode will cover from Wednesday the 3rd of September 2003 through to Tuesday the 9th of September 2003. And we will have the following awesome sections. What's in your sack, Postman Jack? Presidential strip search. Elder PD's mental marathon. Friends with benefits. Spooky Mormon hell dream. Show me the money. And where's the wally? And the missionary countdown continues with only 720 days until Elder PD's return. So let's see what was in your sack, Postman Jack. This week we had one letter from Mum and Dad, one letter from an auntie, 2 letters, very long letters, from Sister PD, and one War and Peace style letter from Elder PD. There are also notes from Elder PD to home. You will see as we go through that letters to Mum were a lot shorter than letters to Sister PD.
I'm sorry, Mom.
Also, I've picked through 2 whole hours of audio footage. And now we end this section with a heartwarming moment as Sister PD risked very life and limb to get her letter in the sack on time. And now it's time for the presidential strip search. Some of you may remember from a previous episode that Elder PD, his companion, and some of the other elders partook in some ritual leg shaving and toenail painting. If you missed it, head back to episode 3 now in order to get the full story about what happened there. But this is the time that little adventure comes back to bite them in the ass. Sitting on the second row, ready for the devotional, Elder PD and his companion, Elder Henderson, were asked a favor by the sister missionaries sat in front of them. The sister missionaries, having heard on the grapevine that Elder Henderson had a gargantuan collection of nail polish, asked if they could borrow some nail polish remover. Now, this pricked the ears of the mission president's wife, who was sat just a few feet away playing the organ.
What do you hear?
Roll on that afternoon, and Elder PD and Elder Henderson were summoned to the MTC president's office. Now, walking in, you could tell from the look on his face that this was not going to be a pat on the back and a well done. He sat us down and demanded that we remove our shoes and socks and roll up our trousers. Now, looking back, that seems a little bit Masonic, if we look at this image. The MTC president then inspected our smooth legs and admired our multicolored toenail polish. I don't know what I thought was going to happen at this point, whether he was going to give us a well done, lads, or some pointers on how we could avoid razor rash. But no, at this point, he lost his spiritual temper and sent us back to our rooms to remove the nail polish and return barefoot with the nail polish collection to be confiscated. Now, thinking about it, Elder Henderson must be pretty pissed at this point because that was a lot of nail polish and a lot of money. But the MTC president confiscated the nail polish and sat us down like naughty schoolboys in order to reinforce our gender roles. The MTC president proceeded to teach us a lesson from the scriptures from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. Now, I remember this because it was one of the most condescending conversations I had with a mission leader in my life. But let's get to it. In Corinthians, when I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. but when I became a man, I put away childish things. So put away childish things, elders, and go to work. Something that he quoted as well was Gordon B. Hinckley with his good old getting lost in the work of the Lord. So that was the presidential strip search, and he gave us a good grilling. In reviewing all the tapes for these episodes, there were some good nuggets from Elder Henderson, all the way from Mobile, Alabama. Let's hear one of his final nuggets from the MTC now. A strong life lesson to be learned there from Elder Henderson. Thank you. Someone else, obviously, that comes up on the tapes a lot is Sister PD. And there was a lot of speculation going on at home as to where Elder PD would land in the mission following the MTC. We find out at the end of this episode, but for now, let's hear from Sister PD how much she wanted to know. Now, Elder PD has only just started his journey, just finishing the MTC and going into the mission field, but it's a mental marathon. Missionaries can really struggle with homesickness, and especially imposter syndrome, if they're surrounded by other missionaries who seem more righteous and more knowledgeable about what they're teaching.
That man's an imposter. That man is the imposter.
Another thing that stood out to Elder PD at the MTC was the fact that there were foreign-speaking missionaries coming to English-speaking missions who had just been dumped in the MTC with no training. There were elders there from Spain and Germany who only knew 1 or 2 words in English.
Oh God, what if they don't speak English?
Who were just expected to learn English during the MTC through the gift of tongues. Not only being homesick and struggling to learn the new ways of being a missionary, but being so lonely that you're isolated by the very language that you speak. It boggled the mind that these elders and sisters were just handed all of the missionary materials in English when they didn't speak English. Now, there was one elder from California, and he spoke some Spanish, so he was a companion of the Spanish-speaking elder. Now, with the elder from Germany, who became a good friend of mine later in the mission when we served together, and after my mission, told me that when he arrived at the MTC, he knew hello, goodbye, yes, and no. Everything else was just gibberish to him. Other notable events in the final week of the MTC included a visit to the temple to do all that stuff, an impromptu photo shoot at the temple sign with other elders, a basket of cookies baked by the local young women. And my room got most improved room in the room inspections that week. Yeah! So that was that. The MTC was over, and it was time for Elder PD to put on his big boy pants and head out into the mission field. But how was Elder PD feeling about that in himself? At this point, it's worth reminding you that at the end of this episode, you will find out how you can win this little bundle of treats. But I thought, who best to tell us more about the Glass Looker than the author of the Glass Looker himself, Mark Elwood. Mark, take it away.
Hi, so I am here in my office. This is where I create the Glass Looker series, and currently drawing some right here for Volume 2. But Volume 1 is already out, and this is sort of the superhero origin story of Joseph Smith. He's the protagonist. We follow his adventures as he is progressing along his magical journey. We're kind of taking different historical documents, illustrating the stories, and not trying not to take a stance one way or another. We're just trying to show what the document says as much as possible. Of course, I have a little creative licensing going on, but mostly I try to draw the document as it is. and then hopefully the viewer can see and just read it themselves and enjoy it as for what they are, the stories that are about Joseph Smith that we have forgotten. So we're going to continue the story into 1822, and those stories will be more closely recorded to the events they're portraying. And so I'm real excited for those stories. We'll have the first appearance of the angel or treasure guardian. And of course, we'll have the retrieval of the brownstone from the chase well. And, there have been tons of fun to draw. I'm currently drawing the William Stafford stories right now. We're going to get to a black sheep sacrifice in just a few more pages. So I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah, great stories. I hope everybody enjoys them. And they're just really fun for me. And it's just a way that I can, kind of process my own journey in Mormonism.
Thank you, Mark. I, for one, have really enjoyed reading The Glass Looker. It's really brought to life some of the tales that the church doesn't tell you around Joseph Smith. And I'm looking forward to the second book coming out in September 22. Friends with benefits. Now, not quite in the way that the world thinks of friends with benefits, thank goodness, but in a missionary sense. Elder PD was practically living in the mission before he was called to the mission. So he knew lots of missionaries from the England Leeds mission before he arrived in the field. Let's hear from Sister PD about one of those missionaries now. Yes, Elder Harris was called as the AP, whilst Elder PD was in the MTC. And that meant that Elder Harris would be there to pick Elder PD up from the MTC in the mission bus. That meant that Elder PD already had a good relationship with the APs, and it meant that they were able to influence the companion that Elder PD got as his trainer. Spooky Mormon Hell Dream. I love going to see the Book of Mormon musical. It's fantastic. If anyone hasn't seen it, you must find the nearest theatre that is showing it because it is epic. But for Elder PD's Spooky Mormon Hell Dream, this is a dream that I didn't have as a missionary, but I had after my mission, and it was a recurring nightmare. Now, for the past few years, I haven't had the dream, but recently, having delved back into all of my missionary letters and paraphernalia, the dream is back. And that dream is that now, as PD, I am recalled on mission, a full 2-year mission. I have to leave behind my family, my friends, and my ex-Mormonism. I'm forced to go back on a mission and work underneath some of the younger elders who think they know a lot about life, but don't really know much about life. So, Elder PD has now been collected from the MTC by his friend Elder Harris in the mission bus. And if we look at this map here, he's been driven with Elder Henderson, Elder Cower, and a few other elders from Chorley east across the hills all the way past Sister PD, literally a few miles past Sister PD's house, to the mission office, which is here, the Blue Star in Leeds. So it's Monday night and it's time for interviews with the mission president. My mission president was President Bowen, and President and Sister Bowen were fantastic. They were like a pair of grandparents that you always want. They've always got an arm to put around you and just made us feel safe and at home immediately. But sitting down with President Bowen that evening, Elder PD was told what extra restrictions would be upon him in the mission, and those were geographical. If we look at the map here, we can see these red areas were out of bounds for Elder PD to serve in. That was the Sheffield zone in the south here, because it was too close to PD's home, which is in a light blue at the bottom here. And there were two zones which covered the Leeds stake, the Leeds zone and the Bradford zone, which are roughly covered by this red box. I think the Bradford one came slightly further north, but you get the idea. So Elder PD couldn't serve in those areas and We're yet to find out where he's going to serve. But now it's the first full day in the mission field, and it's back to the mission office to receive all of our admin stuff. And we got a pillow, a mission pillow. The church bought us each a pillow. That's fantastic. I guess it was a hygiene thing because there's lots of dirty pillows in the flats. But the other thing we'd be receiving was our trainer and where we would be serving in our first area. There's really only one way to introduce this section.
Show me the money!
So the church, being the financial megalith that it is, started handing out brown envelopes. Now, these brown envelopes, unfortunately, weren't full of cash and never will be. But what they were full of were bank cards from JP Morgan Chase. Every missionary got a bank card, and on that card, you would get your monthly stipend or spending money. And that stipend was to buy food and toiletries and the essentials. But something that you also got on that card was something called President's 50. Now, President's 50 was a £50 kind of overdraft. It wasn't an overdraft. It was actual money that sat there on the card. But at the end of your mission, you had to pay President's 50 back in cash. If you didn't pay President's 50 back in cash, then that £50 debt followed you back to your ward, wherever you are in the world, and it had to be paid by you or the ward.
You better pay or we'll funk you up. I said we will funk you up.
£50, eh? They were really precious over President's 50. So it was there as an emergency. I did spend my President's 50, but Sister PD, being Sister PD, sent me £50 in cash in order to pay off that debt at the end of my mission. Thank you. Something else that they gave us were budgeting forms. You can see one here. Now, it says on here, now this is really special because bear in mind, $150 billion is nothing to shy away from. From the church, the secret, this is amazing. I can't believe they were giving away the secret. The secret of money management is to keep a record. Then you can see where you have more to spend and where correction is needed. Wow. So we needed to keep a record. I never kept a record. But it's funny that the church thinks that keeping the records of where the money is and what it's spent on is the most important thing. I wonder if they will ever show us that record. Something else that was on here was your budget daily. The breakdown. Daily. Food and paper goods, £2.28. Personal hygiene, 19 pence. Flat cleaning materials, 13 pence. Personal grooming, 62 pence. And it varies from elders to sisters. So the total for elders was £3.22. And the total for sisters was £3.58 because they had to buy more hygiene goods. But whoever sat down and thought you can feed yourself for £2.28, like if you were in an area where the members weren't feeding you and you needed to provide 3 square meals, £2.28 was not going to cut it.
I'm starving to death.
So it's no surprise some elders went into President's 50. Also, you had to pay for all of your travel costs up front and get them reimbursed by the mission. So if you were in an area, a walking area, where you had to buy a monthly bus pass, and the monthly bus pass cost around £40 to £50, that's half of your monthly allowance gone straight away. And that meant that you had to wait for the office to reimburse those funds into your account. And I remember several times just running out of money.
It's gone. It's all gone.
So now we know the secret to money management and building your billions is to keep a record. But sorry, Jerry, following the church's example, you should never show anyone the money. Where's Wally or Waldo if you're in the United States? So in this section, we find out where Elder PD goes. And we'll find out who Elder PD is going there with. If any of you have been on a mission, you'll know that on the first full day, you're assigned to your trainer, the person who will groom and shape you into a well-rounded missionary, a confident person, and who has been given the privilege of living with you 24/7 and only being apart from you whilst you shower and use the toilet. Yeah, it sounds pretty crap. That's one way to treat adults, eh? The time had come. All of my group from the MTC, all of us new missionaries, were lined up on one side of the office, and all of the trainers were lined up on the other side of the office, like two teams facing one another. And the mission president stood in the middle and announced each greenie's name, and then said they will be trained by, and then that trainer would rush forwards into the middle, and the greenie would meet, and they'd give him a big cuddle as if they were long lost brothers or sisters. And they would go off and think, oh my gosh, how am I going to live with this person? It came time for Elder PD, the mission president said. Elder PD will be serving with Elder Rainier. Big cheer went up. Clap, 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 clap. Rushed into the middle. I got a cuddle. And this guy was like the classic American jock. He was the lad about town in the mission. And they will be serving in Sunderland. Boom, Sunderland. Let me get a map. We can see here, Sunderland, no surprises for guessing, is a good 2 hours north of Leeds and well out of the way. One of the most northern areas in the mission, because this whole section of the mission to the north is one area. And that ends this episode number 5 of Multi-Level Missionary. The MTC is complete, and Elder PD is now in the mission field with his companion, Elder Rainier, and they are traveling via train north to the city of Sunderland. But now is the time that you've all been waiting for. It's competition time. If you want to win this copy of the Glass Looker from Mark Elwood, this double-layered box of Cadbury's milk tray, and an awesome little Priesthood Dispatcher's badge, sent to your door wherever you are in the world, regardless of the postage cost, then what you need to do is take a quick look back at the episode. Then you will have seen logos flash up from multi-level marketing companies started by Mormons. Here is an example. You can have that one as the first one. You need to count all of the logos that you saw. They're not too hard, honestly. And then what you need to do is subscribe to the channel, share this video, and comment that number in the comments below. All the people who do those 3 things will be entered into the draw, and the draw will take place on the 22nd of April 2022, when we will have Mark Elwood himself virtually in the studio to discuss his book, The Glass Looker. Final thoughts from PD. The MTC was a roller coaster of epic proportions, of not wanting to go on a mission, not wanting to leave Sister PD, going through what had to be one of the toughest times in my life, and then coming out the other side with some kind of resolve to just get through it. But how was the MTC for you? Do you have a Mormon hell dream? Are you suffering from PTSD from your mission? I think a lot of missionaries still have that dream, that nightmare of being called back to have to do those things again. Let me know and share your story. And ultimately, next week, we will find out if Elder PD and Elder Rainier got along as well as these two did.
Well, this is it, jumping off point. And here we are, one step away from a sick world that's crying out for what we can give it. Truth, freedom, salvation. Oh, can you see the headlines now, brother? 2 humble missionaries convert thousands. Cities translated overnight. Oh, Green, we're destined to be the greatest team of missionaries the world has ever known.
Whatever you say, Kessler.
Are you with me?
Whatever you say, Kessler.
We are not the ordinary,
Fearlessly extraordinary,
working righteous hara-kiri
in our humble way.
humble way now, humble way, oh humble way. Bearing swords of truth we plunder,
Slicing wicked men asunder.
we are something of a wonder
In our humble way. Humble way now. working righteous Harry Carey in our humble way. Humble way now. Humble way.
Wally, Kessler, and Harold Green, right?
Oh, that's us!
Well, you'd better get ready, boys. You're up next.
But for now, that's it from me and from Sister PD, and I'll catch you on episode 6.